Up at Noon, we're joined by our good friend Anthony Carboni to talk science and Star Wars. Speaking of Star Wars, Episode 9 is out of director, and meanwhile, Batman the Animated Series turns 25. Let's talk about it. All that and more right now on Up at Noon Live.
Ooh, baby, we're back. What's up?
Hey.
It's Brian, Max, and Anthony Carboni.
Hi.
And we're doing an Up at Noon, America's favorite show to watch today, specifically at noon Pacific time on IGN.com.
Yeah, we may or may not be interrupting a big old Destiny 2 live stream, and if we are, we apologize. We do this every week. Destiny 2 doesn't come out every week, but we do this every week, so we're sorry.
Yeah, sorry, that's just it just happens.
Yeah, if you're watching this on
I
whatever
feel
you're
like
watching
it's always
on,
good to start out any creative endeavor by apologizing.
apology really is
know?
that's the proper way of just introducing art to the world.
I'm about to do something and I am so sorry, but here we go.
That's what it says underneath the sign of every museum. It says, museum. Sorry.
Sorry about the mess, aka modern art. Anyway, if you're watching this on IGN.com or IGN's Twitch channel, YouTube channel, Facebook stream, Roku, Apple TV, PS4, Xbox One, well, thank you for tuning in to one of those many platforms. And if you're looking for other platforms to watch us streaming on, we're on all those ones I just said and probably some other ones that I forgot.
Yep.
Real quick, I want to go into some of the news that happened this week. There's some exciting things going on. First things first, as we mentioned, Destiny 2 is out.
Woo!
And that's that's what's going on. Destin's going to be live streaming that. He's reviewing that. He's doing a review in progress. So after we're done with this dog and pony show, you get to go back to watching him do the things.
Seems like it's good so far.
Yeah.
That's actually the new boss.
Yeah.
It's a hand.
It's the first raid.
Yeah.
I think the game is very difficult to play. The entire thing is on a hill.
Yeah. It's weird. It's
They
you
filmed
gotta,
it in the house from Black Sheep.
very weird. You got to turn your TV sideways to get it right. Anyway, the verdict early on is that people like it.
Yeah,
It seems
people
like
really like it.
It's a good time.
This is a good time to mention a PSA. Stop calling it D2. That's the Mighty
the
Ducks
Mighty
2.
Ducks,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Let's not call it anything else but Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Quack, quack, quack.
In other news, Stephen King's It comes out this weekend,
What's with the thumbs, man?
you got to wait till they show the thumbs. He bit the thumb off. Get it?
Oh.
And the thumb is also there to imply that it is a good thing. It's currently sitting at an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm excited to see this.
Did I tell you my pitch for what they should call the sequel? You'll Float 2. I'm exhausted.
That sucks. Wow.
I know a couple people who got to see the premiere and got to see press screenings last week, and everybody is freaking out about it. And
Yep.
actually, the more you love the book, the more you're freaking out about this movie, which makes me very, very happy.
Good.
Is the movie 1,100 pages long?
Yeah, but it's double spaced.
Okay.
So
good.
you're fine. You can get right through the movie.
Yeah, I have been getting my way through that audiobook since I think February, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through it.
It's, from what I understand, it is just the story of them as children.
Right, right.
And then they're going to save the adult part for later.
It's
For
a good
You'll
way,
Float too.
That's a good way to do it, yeah. In other news, this just dropped like yesterday, or maybe this morning. LA Noire is coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. And even weirder, the HTC Vive is getting like a special LA Noire like detective missions with your fun futuristic hat. So if you ever wanted to pretend it's the 1930s and I don't know, you want to do it in a fancier way than just putting on a trilby, well now you can do that with a big expensive hat.
I like this Photoshop because he's really small or the Switch is huge or it's just
I had
weird.
5 minutes, man. Come
I
on.
like
I like it a lot.
I like to think Detective Ken Cosgrove is 4'8".
People were shorter back then.
This is actually cool news because it means that the Switch is successful. Like Rockstar doesn't really mess with the system until it's moving some units. So they kind of skipped the 3DS, which did pretty well, but they completely skipped the Wii U. And then weirdly on the Wii we got Bully, Manhunt, and Table Tennis. And then on the DS we got Chinatown Wars, which is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I love more portable Rockstar games. I think that sounds like a good time.
I think it's very interesting that they decided to do a big push re-release of LA Noire, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't have quite like the cult following or like the fervor, like the fan fervor that a lot of their other stuff has. It's very interesting. Like maybe they're trying to see if they can give it a second chance. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a test the waters kind of thing.
Yeah. Other big piece of news this week, and we won't make you talk about this too much because you'll get yelled at, but Star Wars Episode 9 has lost Colin Trevorrow.
Oh wow! Look at
director
this
who's
cool
attached to that.
Wolverine figure that I'll just look at for.
Enjoy playing with these fine Hasbro toys, but yeah, so that's news. We don't know what's going on with that. There is a bunch of stuff over on. Sorry, I did that one too. I made that Photoshop.
I like that.
Yeah.
Are they ghosts?
I don't know why they're cardboard cutouts. Anyway, we got a video up on IGN of directors we might want to see. People are hoping for Rian Johnson. There's a lot of other kind of speculation out there, but we'll have to wait and see. Without further ado, Anthony, the reason you're here is you host the Star Wars show for StarWars.com and the official channels.
So in case you were wondering why I all of a sudden went silent and got really interested in Wolverine,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, you can't. We're not going to pressure you too much to talk about the top secret things. However, you also have a new show on the horizon. It's called Science and Star Wars.
Yes.
Please tell us about what the show is.
Super excited about this. So this is a 10 episode series that we did in partnership with Facebook and IBM. That is, every episode we are taking something from the Star Wars galaxy, something from the universe, and trying to see how close we can get to it in reality, how close science has gotten, laboratories have gotten. Yeah, it's a lot like a Dr. Mario situation.
I haven't shown that. That's the next thing. It's not for this part.
You looked at me and smirked when you put it up.
I was trying not to giggle at something on my computer, and now we're just completely throwing it away.
So what kind of stuff from Star Wars have you guys sort of dissected and tried to rebuild?
I mean, it's going to be a lot of the stuff. If you want to roll that trailer again.
We can roll the trailer.
It's a lot of stuff that you would expect. So obviously we go through, we got lightsabers, we got speeders, we have blasters. We trap me in carbonite, as you can see there. The closest thing we could find to carbonite. That was actually Daniel Logan. That was Boba Fett with a Boba Fett flamethrower on his wrist.
Holy crap.
Trying to destroy Boba Fett armor.
Okay.
Wow.
That's what we're bringing with science and Star Wars.
There's a lot of stuff in Star Wars that, like, obviously people are like, a lightsaber doesn't make any sense. Anything that's going to be that concentrated of light was just going to keep going for a while.
Right,
you know?
exactly. So it's like, what's the closest thing to that? Well, it's not light, it's plasma. How do we control it?
Yeah. How do you make a laser that only shoots 4 feet or whatever, you know? And then with the Boba Fett, the wrist flamethrower stuff, that was a thing they made back in the 70s. There's like videos of like ILM dudes testing out the original Boba Fett costume, and one of them catches fire.
Yeah.
So
ours was actually built by Alan Pan. If you follow Sufficiently Advanced on YouTube, he's the guy who hooked up his entire apartment to be Ocarina controlled. Do you remember that guy? And he would like do.
They arrested
he would
him.
do yeah. He would do like Song of Storms, and his humidifier would come on. And he does like a lot. He did the Thor's hammer that nobody could lift at Comic-Con. So he built our wrist flamethrower for us.
That's awesome.
And then that Boba Fett armor was actually the best tactical armor we could find. And then we just tried to destroy it. We were like, well, what could Boba Fett's armor hold up against?
Wow.
That's rad.
Yeah, and then alongside that stuff, we also go out into the field. We visit laser laboratories. We visit IBM research laboratories. We go and we see the people who are actually trying to make this stuff real and find out how close they've gotten before we try to build our cardboard and butane version.
I love your face here because it's like this perfect combination of like fear and wonder.
Yeah, that's accurate. I would say that tracks. Yeah.
No, that rules.
You look like a stock photo of a nerd back there, just being like, "Oh my!"
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Did you go in at all and go like I have some ideas, like how about if we made a Sarlacc pit?
Sure. There were definitely some ideas that we threw up. We had this giant whiteboard, and we're like, what do we have to do? What will people expect? What are the things that will make the best experiments? Because it's not always, those three things won't always align into one experiment, right? Like it's super exciting to say we're going to build a lightsaber. The lightsaber is not going to be a lightsaber. So how do we make a great experiment around a lightsaber? Because we know we know that we have to do that one.
Yeah.
Something that turned out really well was the carbonite. Because we used super absorbers, so we used a powder that can actually absorb 400 times its own mass in water. So I'm standing in this powder, and as we add water, it actually forms and traps me inside.
Oh my God.
That
That
glass
sounds kind of
cage.
scary.
Was that like
kinda scary.
suffocating?
It was a little spooky. It actually, the weirdest thing about it was kind of like the chemical fumes. They're not like actual fumes, but just the smell of it had like a very like industrial cleaner smell.
Yeah, I
and so
imagine,
it
like-
wasn't actually making me dizzy, but my brain was saying this is a smell that should make me dizzy.
And
so
then
it
you
got
guys
pretty
made
weird.
fake snow, which has never been done.
Yeah, no one has ever done it before, and now Lucasfilm holds 15 patents
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
on snow.
I was always wondering how Hoth was made, and most ski resorts.
So what was your favorite of the experiments you got to do?
A lot of them are great. Our land speeder turned out really, really well. that was unbelievable, and that's actually something that is a more simple experiment that people can actually do at home. Like you can build a land speeder at home for like $200.
And so was it floating?
Yeah, oh yeah, it was basically a hovercraft. I mean, it was closer to a hydrofoil.
Right.
You know, so it has the cushion of air that's kind of kept inside of like basically a tarp, right? That we put little holes, and you can see the cardboard. We had one of our prop makers actually build the land speeder,
that's
like
awesome.
cardboard, and he put the dent in it. Like the first thing I did was I looked around and I was like, there it is, okay,
Holy
accurate.
crap.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
man.
looks really good. That's all corrugated cardboard.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is this?
Even the seat,
What does that thing weigh?
almost nothing.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. Like we needed to maneuver it around in the office there, and I mean, 2 people could pick it up, and it really only took 2 just because we didn't want it to be awkward and fall over.
Right.
Because it really is all cardboard and tape and glue.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just a really gorgeous little vehicle, even if it doesn't actually work.
I know.
We took that back to the office with us actually.
so
So
cool.
we shot in LA, and you know we shoot the Star Wars show in the San Francisco office.
Yeah.
And we like put that on a truck. We were like, no, that cardboard speeder comes back
That's
with
gotta
us.
go back with you guys. Yeah, that's awesome. Man, that is so cool.
So when does this go up, and where can people see it?
It's going to be on the Star Wars Facebook page at first. So that's facebook.com/Star Wars, and that's going to come, I believe it's either going to be next week or the week after, but it will be coming up here in the middle of the month. So be sure you are following or liking or whatever Facebook calls it.
That's cool. That's actually it's one of those things I actually don't mind.
Thumbing.
I
Just
don't mind liking.
Thumb a Star Wars
It
if
used
you
to be
would.
like give a thumbs up to.
Yeah.
It used to be that whole thing, but yeah, it's like I don't feel bad. Like it's not like one of those things where your like aunt logs on and it's like Max Scoville likes Raisin Bran, and
Yeah.
it's like I was trying to win a hat. I'm sorry. Anyway, speaking of hats, one big announcement that dropped this week is that Nintendo wants us to stop referring to Mario as a plumber. They on their Japanese website, his resume, I guess it was like Mario's kind of LinkedIn page. They updated it to say that he's not a plumber anymore, and that's kind of worth talking about because he's never really been that great of a plumber. I mean, aside from the overalls, I guess there's not really a ton about that outfit that reflects that. You know?
Yeah.
He goes down pipes.
Also, the white gloves don't really work.
No.
With putting your hands in the poop.
You're gonna need like 100 to 150 pairs of white gloves.
Yeah, it's not gonna go so hot. But
not.
yeah, so like he's had lots of jobs over the years, and I figured we could talk about some of them, because it's the dude gets around. Like he's been busy. First things first, he holds a doctorate. He is Dr. Mario.
That's true.
So I mean, we just look at pictures. Stop doing that. It's really
That's
scary.
great.
There it
No, I
is.
love that.
It's very scary.
Hey,
We all float down here, Luigi.
Anyway, also, if you search Dr. Mario on the internet, it will pull up local actual doctors named Mario in your area. That's
Yeah.
something I learned. Is he really
Hot
like,
doctors named Mario in your area.
We've never really figured out this game, by the way. Like, I don't know if you are playing as the Mario or if you're playing as the virus. Hello. Like,
You're not playing as the virus because you're controlling the pills to destroy the virus.
So are you the man or the sick man?
I think the idea is that you're rapidly prescribing new medication to go down. But really,
the
it
way
could
I
also
saw
be-
it is Mario as like kind of like a virologist or somebody or a chemist who's testing new medicines.
I feel like that's kind of reckless, though.
Yeah.
To be like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Take more pills.
He throws like thousands of pills inside this.
Well,
sick
he'll
man.
also throw fireballs at turtles. So I mean, like
Yeah.
he's not a dude who's known for.
He also like he puts his
thinking
hands in
first.
the toilet and then he goes rutting around in your mouth and stuff like that. That's a weird doctor, dude.
Keep showing that
What's
haunting
going on with you, man?
the
What's going on with you over there, Mr. Mario, man?
I would say that Dr. Mario is at least
sleep.
he's more like a doctor in Dr. Mario than he is like a plumber in Mario Brothers. You know,
Right.
like there's slightly you can sort of be like I can understand how that's medical science,
Yeah.
but yeah. Moving on, he's also a race car driver. I don't know if Mario Kart is technically a job. He collects money while he's doing it though, so there's that.
He does, yeah. But when he gets like 100 coins, it resets.
Is that just his commute?
Yeah.
Does he just get into his other jobs and there's just like banana peels everywhere?
Yeah, I
and-
actually never really thought about it like that. That's probably a good point. Like he's trying to get to work and everybody's just messing with his garbage.
They're just jockeying for a good parking spot.
The thing is about this is like a lot of his jobs counter the other jobs, right? Like being a doctor and being a plumber is gross, but being a race car driver is reckless, and being a reckless doctor is not safe.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just not a good. It's just not a good man.
Worth noting,
I like
though-
that the chat's only comment is overthought.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, these are the things that keep us up at night.
This is what we
okay?
do.
No, I want to touch on that though.
How can one man be so good at so many things?
You can be a doctor and a race car
We
driver
can't
at the
even
same
finish
time.
audiobooks.
They're
That's
difficult. You have to sit there and listen.
It's very hard.
Active listening even. But no, like a lot of doctors, they're like, oh, I make a ton of money from my practice. I want to do something exciting, and they go get like a really nice car. You know, so it's not totally unheard of that, like, I don't know, after just selling one man thousands of pills to deal with his weird organisms living in there, that he would just, you know, start driving around in a very nice Mercedes.
It seems like Mario's whole like oeuvre, like his whole thing is just like midlife crisis dad.
Yeah, totally.
Huh.
You know?
Yeah, that totally
Like I'm
lines
just gonna
up.
give a lot of things a shot.
Plumbers make a ton of money though. So
Yeah,
if, like, I think he probably banked off of those old clogged up poop pipes in Brooklyn town, and then took all that money, bought a cool car, bought some nice doctorate clothes, just started posing in the office.
doctorate? Okay. Now,
He got an O doctorate. He won trivia at the pub, and they gave him an O doctorate, and then he just started operating on people, and they're like, "That is not. It's not an honorary O doctorate. It's not real."
Doctorate sounds like a O-Duels contest. It was like a contest for non-alcoholic beer.
all right, so Mario's also an astronaut, kind of, I
This
guess.
is not okay.
This
Yeah.
one's
know.
a stretch.
He's jumping around in space.
So in Super Mario Land 2, he actually wears an astronaut's costume, which is weird. He's got the space bubble on, which means that he needs that to breathe in that game, but not in this game. And also he can go underwater without breathing mostly until he collects coins, which give him oxygen. Nothing makes sense.
No, because you would think if his little buddy the Luma makes him able to breathe in space,
Yeah.
then the Luma would also be able to make him breathe underwater.
Well, it's actually a small balloon full of air that he sucks on.
What
a lot of
end?
astronauts
What
do
end? Where does his mouth go?
See, it's like this. Look at that. Look at that side by side up there. It's like the same. It's like the same image.
Yeah,
It's
same
pretty much
thing.
the same thing. So he's not an astronaut. I don't
Are
think
there a lot of astronauts that have big mustaches? I don't think so.
I feel
We
like
don't
they
send a
let
lot of
them.
people to
that-
space with mustaches.
I know that like firemen can't have beards because it like messes with their breathing.
Yeah.
But they're all like, hey, screw you, the boss man. I'll have a mustache instead. That's why firemen always have
Same with
mustaches.
space. We can't send mustaches to space because you get a lot of the orange tang in there, and everyone gets sick.
Yeah, I've read Tintin. The mustaches get huge and big and orange. It's very odd.
That's just science.
Now Mario Tennis, is this a job or a hobby?
That's
Great.
a hobby. There's like 8 people in the world that can call tennis a job.
Yeah, but I mean, it is a full tournament setup with somebody like calling the scores and everything. At the very least, it's a league. It's an intramural league.
I like how they reviewed their own game on the box. That's kind of ballsy. Mario and friends serve up another ace. We've done it again. Boys here at Nintendo, just stay crushing it. What's
Do you think
up?
somebody was like, you know, normally when it does that, it's a quote from someone else, and they're like, what?
That's a font
Really?
that literally no one has seen since 1996.
Yeah, seriously. That was used in '96 and then also 1905.
It's
Is that
like
the
yeah.
Virtual Boy font?
It's like that and Jurassic Park. I think some of the signs in Jurassic Park.
We have a weird show here.
Yeah.
That's just awful to look at. That sucks.
I don't
like
know.
that. It went
I don't
big.
know. I'm getting used to it.
Well, now
I'm
it looks like
starting
your
to
voice
it.
is coming out. It's better than that face that she's making. Trying to find attractive pictures of tennis players is not, when they're not posing, is not good. They always look like they're just like trying to kill a bee. Very
They don't sound good
aggressively.
either.
Yeah. Now another one is Mario is an Olympian. He goes there with Sonic and foolishly challenges that fast rat to a race. Also, look at that. Look at how life imitates art, or vice versa. They're just it's like this blue versus red, and they're running, they're jumping over those things. I feel like I don't know Olympians. They kind of
That's the best summation I think of the Olympic Summer Games I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
that was really good.
You did a really great job.
Yep.
Thank you.
I understand the Olympics far more now than I ever have.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Every time I say Olympics, it costs the Imagine Games Network $47.
Yo, how much, like, how far you think you could really run in like a big set of just thick jean, Oshkosh Bagosh overalls?
Are there any countries that like have that they're
Yeah.
like we don't like your uniform rules? We've got our own, and their overalls. They're
Well,
very,
yeah, it's unfair kind of because Mario's in like three hot layers of clothing,
Yeah.
and Sonic is just naked.
He's
with
just naked with shoes on, and he's
That's
got,
aerodynamic.
I think he's got his little wristbands or whatever to get him into the club. I don't know what he wears those things for.
real weird. Now golf, that's sort of it's mostly just not that's a thing. I think again, doctors do that. I guess astronauts probably do that. They played golf on
Dads.
the moon that one time.
Yeah,
golf
this
is
is-
kind of a dad sport, you know.
Golf
So
is mostly just standing and driving.
Mario does like a lot of dad stuff. It's weird when you think about that. So he might not be a plumber, but you know he's like. I couldn't tell what professional golfer that is because he's facing away from the
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
But it's got another iconic red hat. So
I think it's Donkey Kong.
Nintendo kind of not as high on their own supply as they were for Mario
Yeah,
Tennis.
exactly.
Whereas like in Mario Tennis, they were just like, yeah, we did it, boys. Mario Golf is like, play some golf.
Yeah. You can do it. You can do what we said we can do in this game.
Do you think that they decided that other font from Mario Tennis was too exciting and they didn't use that, so they just used like a regular old Arial font?
Can you zoom in on Wario's face real quick? Is that possible?
Can we do that?
Can we enhance?
Enhance.
Can we enhance Wario's
Somebody's
face?
scrambling back there in the studio being like,
I don't even know
went
if
to
that's possible.
4 years of video production
You
school
might
for
have
this.
to do it, Max.
I don't think I can. Can I do that?
Yeah, let's give
I
it
don't think I can do that here.
No?
No.
Siri.
It doesn't work.
Control F.
Anyway,
F plus.
now let's talk more about some real jobs he's had.
What in the hell is this?
Hostage response is kind of a recurring theme. You know, you could argue that like a plumber is just kind of in the wrong place at the right time or whatever. But
Are you in that game?
in the case of Hotel Mario, you just running through hotels looking for a kidnapping victim, which is Peach. That's what the case. The whole thing about that game is you're just opening and shutting doors. So like you're the guy with that big ramrod.
The real victim were children who owned the Philips CDI.
That's a good point.
A lot of people don't know this, but Hotel Mario was originally going to be the Shining video game, and they reskinned it at the last moment.
That's true. Look, as
You
can
could
see.
be. I don't know if you're lying or joking. I'm not sure. Now here's
Which
another
is why
classic.
you go through the hedge maze and you see that there's that weird sex scene in the middle of it.
Yes, with
With the guy in the dog suit.
yes, with the chomp chomp. Now, yeah, typing instructor. There's a crap job. The only two famous typing instructors are Mario and Mavis Beacon, and that's like again, I feel like that's like a substitute teacher dad. Like he gets tired of golfing and driving sports cars, and he's like, maybe I'll go volunteer at the local school and teach typing.
This was the prequel to Mavis Beacon Teaches Skyping and Mavis Beacon Teaches Sniping, which was M-rated for teens.
Mavis Beacon's life took a turn there.
I was like, what is it? Typer Elite 3. Now, finally, really the least glamorous thing Mario's done. I would argue this is even worse than doing plumbing. Is just pressure washing.
Is power hosing graffiti that's done by local
Not
teens
even, it
that
doesn't
look
even.
like you.
I don't even know if it's a graffiti. It's on the ground. That might just be like cigarette butts and dog poop.
Well, that's what the photo, but in the video game, he's very anti-graffiti. It's like I'm torn on.
Have you ever used a pressure washer?
No.
It's oddly satisfying.
I've been seriously meaning to rent one for like months now.
Right?
I'm excited about it. I'm gonna like put aside a weekend and just go at it.
So rad.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Anyway, those are the many jobs that Mario's had over the years, and I guess he's much more than a plumber. So really, you know, don't just judge somebody by that one job they've had. You know, people are complex organisms.
But still, if they still keep wearing the same clothes from that one job, then I guess you can just keep judging them by that one job.
I think the big consensus is that Mario's overalls are probably just revolting.
Yeah.
If they're really a thing.
And his hands are probably dirty as hell from going in the toilets.
Yep.
His Febreze bills, just like by the case on Amazon.
I bet
Prime.
he just pressure washes his own overalls.
That's why he has so many flowers, because his house stinks like the turds.
The end. Anyway, speaking of jobs
Brian,
in
age
business
7.
and so on and so forth, we are sponsored this week by Taco Bell, and they coordinated to have Aaron Greenberg from Microsoft and Jordan Payton, the famous YouTuber Legion, to come by and unbox an Xbox One X. Let's take a look. Hey everybody, it's Max and Brian.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to a very special segment of Up at Noon. Thanks to Taco Bell, we were able to take an early look at the all-new Xbox One X, the retail version that will be available in November. Here to join us is Xbox's Aaron Greenberg and Taco Bell's Jordan Payton.
Guys, welcome.
Thanks, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man, thanks for having us.
Anytime. Specifically now.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. You got Xboxes and Taco Bell, so I don't know why we'd ever turn you away. Aaron, tell us about this thing. Tell us all about the Xbox One X. It's here in front of us. What's going on under
This
the
is
hood here?
it. You've waited, and actually, here we are. This is what consumers will get in their hands on November 7th, the Xbox One X.
Give us some of the stats. Come on, man. Tell us about the flops.
We'll help you open it.
Yeah, let's do it. So first, if you don't know, the Xbox One X is the most powerful console ever made. It's got 40% more processing power than any other console, 60% more memory. But let's go ahead and show you.
Is this the
so-
console?
it's so thin,
the whole
it's
thing
crazy.
is
The console
small.
right there. Just
How
that
does
sleeve.
it put? Where do you put the disc?
Well, it's actually in here. This is not only the most powerful console we've ever made, designed for true 4K gaming, but it's also the smallest Xbox we've ever made. And let's
Wow,
take a look.
interesting
That's
design
all it
choice,
is.
really. I'm just kind of odd that
comes
there's
with
in
two
two
of them.
pieces. Interesting.
Oh no, it's over there.
Here it is.
That is
How
a
did
very
you
clean
fit
design.
everything inside there?
Liquid cooling. We actually have liquid cooling, and then a vapor chamber and a centrifugal fan that actually takes all that heat and disperses it right out the back here.
To really show off how little it is compared to the One S, you need to put the controller next
Yes,
to it.
this is the new Xbox One controller with Bluetooth built in. You can get a sense of size. and of course HDMI cable, everything you need to get the full experience.
Now, are the older Xbox One controllers still going to be able to work with?
All the controllers, all the games work, full backward compatibility with Xbox 360 and back to the original Xbox games. Over 400 titles are supported.
Where's the gigantic power brick?
It's gone. It's actually, the power supply is built in. This is it. And in fact, not only do you get that, but if you are upgrading from an existing Xbox One S, you just unplug your ports, everything goes right in. It's fully compatible as well.
Oh, sweet. Now, one thing you guys are leaning into a lot with this is like the 4K and the HDR and everything, but a lot of people haven't upgraded their TVs yet. What are the benefits of the One X?
Well, the power and performance benefits are good both on an HD TV and a 4K TV. We have things like super sampling, so we'll take 4K games and they'll super sample and look better, even better on your HD TV. You get things like faster load times, more realism, bigger draw distances, all those benefits as well.
What kind of games are going to get the benefit of this?
Well, we have Forza Motorsport 7 is one of our big showcase titles in true 4K, 60 frames per second. Really, that's going to be a beautiful game. We have over 100 Xbox One X enhanced titles as well. Basically, all the biggest titles this holiday are taking advantage of the power and performance of the box. Things like FIFA 18, Madden 18 for big sports fans, Shadow of War, Assassin's Creed, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Basically, whatever game you're a fan of, it's going to look and play amazing on this box.
Now, Jordan, what if I want to own an Xbox One X without actually paying for it?
If you're wanting a chance to win one, you definitely need to check out the newest $5 box, or any $5 box from Taco Bell, that is. Nice. But this bad boy's got a steak quesarito in it, a Doritos Locos taco, an original crunchy taco, and of course a medium drink of your choice. And on the bottom of this box is a little code. All you gotta do is text it. They're gonna be giving away, on average, one bundle every 10 minutes.
And in fact, only with this Taco Bell promotion, you can be one of the first to win an Xbox One X. We're also including a copy of Forza Motorsport 7 and 3 months of Game Pass, so over 100 games, all only with the Taco Bell promotion.
Jordan, when does this promotion start?
So it's already started and it goes all the way through October 4th.
Nice. And then the Xbox One X is...
It launches on November 7th, but every time you buy a $5 box at Taco Bell, you have a chance to enter to win.
Excellent. Well, thank you. No, thank you guys so much for coming by. It's been really, honestly, it's just great that you were
winning.
Very cool of you to come on. And yeah, and we're going to have
best winners in the world.
Lots more stuff from the Xbox One X coming up on IGN, so keep it locked and don't go anywhere.
See you soon, and thanks for watching us win this contest. I think.
And we're back.
We did it.
Yeah. So that was a lot of shooting because they had to get the tacos just right. They lined them up very perfectly, and those are very, very pretty tacos. They did not let us eat them, which was infuriating because they were like, to sit there and be like, we're gonna shoot this video for a good chunk of time, and then be like, we do that. So we do have some outtakes though. So just take a look at these.
Here we go, guys. We are rolling, starting again from the very top. In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to a very special segment of Up at Noon. Here to join us is Xbox's Aaron Greenberg and Taco Bell's Jordan Payton.
Thanks, excited to be here.
Was that it? Excited to be here?
Well, now you're improving?
I don't know. Fix it in post, I don't care. Hey everybody, it's Max and Brian. Welcome to a very special segment of, let's do that again. You want to say hello there?
No,
Your chest hair looks amazing.
thank you. It's they made it. It's cheese.
Please don't move.
Somebody's spit. Oh, nice, this one.
That was probably me.
Cleaned it up.
Just trying to very like stealthily insult it.
All you have to do is take this code, text it to them. It comes with the Xbox One X console, a 3-month Xbox Game Pass, and of course, Forza Motorsport.
Forza Motorsport 7. From the maker of the Forza comes Forza Motorsport 7.
Oh man. You need the console before they do so you can brag about it and they can come over and play on your 4K screen. Will not up eventually. Now they're gonna be giving away a bundle every 10 minutes. How are we bringing you in again? We'll do it again. I'm like, I got it in my head.
Of course, it comes with the brand new Xbox One S controller, which includes...
Over 4 buttons.
No, sorry. And of course, not only do you win the Xbox One X, you get the killer app Forza
Forza Motorsport 4.
It's his fault.
40,000 horsepower cars. Now, Jordan, what if I wanted to own an Xbox One X without actually paying for it?
You just need to visit your local Taco Bell. Listen, all you have to do is visit.
All you gotta do is visit your TV. All you gotta do. Now, Jordan, what if you wanted to own an Xbox One X without actually... We're so close.
Sorry. That was me.
Daddy? Okay, here we go.
At least we're taking turns making mistakes.
So let's take a look. Let's see what this thing looks like. This is.
It's like a wolf's hair. It's just like, what is that? Whose hair even is that?
What is that?
No, this isn't a human. This is like Alaskan sheepdog wolf hair.
Oh my god.
I think that was the take. I think that was the perfect.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
Oh wow.
We're back. No, it's a live show. It's honestly we're awkward. I was just asking, is it okay if I stand up? So the top of my head's cut off, but I'm standing up because it's easier to talk over the Batcave.
Which is huge.
Right, okay, so DC Collectibles has been making probably the coolest Batman the Animated Series line to date. And they've been cool enough to send over, I think this is an exclusive, this is their Batcave Bat computer vignette that comes out next month. And it's just this huge playset to scale with these figures. And I figured we'd like screw around and play with it for a little bit.
That Batman has a very tough time
So
standing.
yeah, they honestly they kind of set themselves up to have a hard time with this because Bruce Timm's design aren't really like realistic, like his little ankles aren't really meant for.
They got little feet.
Yeah, he's got little tiny little. He's
So
still,
specifically, so I bought this Batman, but it comes with an Alfred figure, right?
Yeah. Let's get him out here. Alfred's kind of great. He's an exclusive that comes with the playset.
I love
here
it.
he is. And that's not all. Like I don't know
Look at
why.
the shot of his face is so good. He is just like
Properly outraged.
he's like both like seething and checked out. I love it. Like
Yeah.
he's just got this perfect balance of like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. So this whole thing is pretty cool. It took a minute to set up. Basically, it all lights up, so you can't really tell here, but
That's literally Alfred's like, I'll put the lobster in the
yeah.
microwave.
And
for
he's
you.
got like check this out. He's got this like whole tea tray set that comes out with, and it's got all these little tiny like. I mean, I know they're action figures, not dolls, but these are like doll dishes. I'm just gonna set it down. But there's like that's not canon at all.
It is now.
He's got like a coffee thing, and he's got like a pot of like vichyssoise or something, and then there's a tiny. You're just doing.
Samus Aran is
this
there.
is all Elseworlds. This doesn't count. You're just gonna keep doing this, huh?
And then this is like tiny Aquaman, who's kind of like Batmite.
Look at this.
And he's kind of Bruce's conscience.
Can you even see the spoon? I'm
And then
trying
that's-
to talk about the play set
That's
here.
all in Emmerich.
There's a tiny, it's like a tea set here. Anyway, the other thing they're doing here is the.
There's the comic book he did
just
with the giant storm.
shut up a second and let me talk about the computer, okay?
Do you have the penny? Do you have
I'm
the big,
Pickle Rick!
do you have the big
God.
penny?
So anyway, there's all these decals that you can get. They're kind of tricky to put on. They're like color forms, but if you get them to work. Oh, come on! That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I love tea.
Anyway.
The Legend of Zelda.
Get that out of here! This doesn't work at all. I do kind of love this though because it's like you can do this. This is a terrifying comic. You're gonna knock over the coffee. You're just.
He's like a blimp.
They sent us this as an exclusive. This is never gonna do anything with us again. This is terrible. This is not to scale with the Batcave.
Is this a copy machine? It looks like a copy machine.
I don't know. It's a
copy
computer.
machine.
It's one of those.
How does it
It's
light
a,
up?
it's a bat copy machine. It does color. It can collate.
Okay, so actually check
does.
this out.
Robin, did you print the birthday invites?
This is.
What's Tick doing down here? He doesn't look good.
He's probably talking. Check this out though. The back of the Batcave, really cool. It has all the wires and stuff sticking out.
This is where they make out.
Yeah, they go back there to probably never dust. There's probably just lots of bat crap everywhere.
What kind of batteries does this thing use?
This takes like 3 AA, I think, and
that's good.
this whole thing like plugs into the back there. It's pretty easy to take apart, put together.
It is cool that it all lights up, and it's also cool that you can remove the decals from the screen here.
Yeah, they come with a bunch of like spare ones. You got like Pamela Isley's ID here.
I'm not crazy about these decals because they get all real rolled up and coily. Like
Yeah,
this right
they're
here.
kind of tricky. You got to
Here
get
they
them.
are.
You got to get them
Look,
right
you
amount of
can see.
sticky. Yeah, they fell off overnight.
It looks like they threw a party. This actually looks like a really cool party happened down here.
Yeah, honestly, like this is one of those things. This might work totally fine if you live in like the Central Valley, but we're in like humid-ass San Francisco, so they just fell off.
This is like what it looked like when Jason Todd was Robin.
Yeah, this is a wreck.
Like Bruce would just go out of town.
You got. This is real. This is real bad. Alfred fell over. Where's the spoon? Oh, here's something
put
fitting.
the spoon back. Yeah,
Here.
put it in the Tick's hand.
Tick needs the spoon.
Oh, that's brand synergy.
His hands don't actually open.
He talks.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is I think it's $175. It's coming out next month, and yeah, if you're we're never gonna find those. Those pieces are tiny. Why do we do this? You're terrible.
I think
You're in trouble after this.
I think it's really good. I think we did a really
Take your
good
Han
thing.
Solo.
Dum-dum.
That actually kind of fits. That it would make sense. He'd show up with Batman.
Where's the damn clown? See, I think it looks good what we did with that.
Yep. Great job. Anyway,
The Bat Center has run amok. And only Batman can help.
so
This,
big,
is like, this
huge.
is like one of those tabletop trivia things at bars. Can you find like the 8 things wrong with the Batcave?
Well, when you're done with that, we can put it back in the box.
Yeah,
the
there you
box
go.
is good. It fits
box is-
everywhere. You can put the box anywhere the boxes go. It's the #1 box ever made. Hey, Max, tell us about the box.
Hello. Hello.
Look at this box. It's a real big box. It's got pictures on the side of it. You can have this as a poster. You can put it right up on your wall, right up here. Put it right here.
So anyway, Batman. That's the thing.
He's back.
Let's get this out of here. I don't know where he was, but he's back again. He came back from there. Yeah, so one thing that happened this week that I want to talk about is Batman the Animated Series turns 25.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get this out of here.
Yeah, it's huge. I don't know, it kind of works there.
It's just a lot.
Hide
What's
the
the difference between that and this, which you set up carefully?
Nothing.
I set
Okay.
that up carefully.
Literally nothing.
Where were we?
What's up, guys?
Oh, you were talking about how the Batman the Animated Series is 25 years old.
Batman is 25. He can finally run a car,
Yeah.
and insurance on that horrible thing he drives has finally gone down.
Why was there just like a long woman's hair on the table? That's weird.
It's part of the set.
Oh, DC Collectibles also sent us that.
Yeah.
It's a clue to solve the mystery of, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, this show's fantastic. It turned 25 this week. The first episode aired 25 years ago. I believe it was Monday.
Yeah, and that was the first one was on Leathery Wings, which is about Man-Bat.
Yeah.
Which is also like a very, if you've never heard of Batman before, it's kind of confusing for the first episode to incorporate someone who's like the main character's name flips sideways,
Right.
and also terrifying.
Well, Bruce Timm was always a little bummed because the entire first season was run out of order by Fox.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was not supposed to air in that order.
Huh. Has he ever gone through and rearranged like how it should?
I
should
think
go?
if you get like the DVD, like the full season DVD, it's in actual episode order, so it doesn't start with Man-Bat. But yeah, he didn't want to start with that episode.
Yeah, this show also gave us Harley Quinn. It's the first time we've ever seen that character, which is really cool. The cool thing about this is like a lot of people don't realize that the backgrounds and stuff were sort of on black paper and then painted on and drawn on with colors on top of that. So that's why everything sort of got this really grim, awesome look that you don't really see in a lot of shows like this. It was also like, I remember watching this show as a kid and being like, I don't know if I should be allowed to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, their guns like shot bullets. and
Yeah.
stuff.
The idea of an animated action series that's made for both kids and adults is very normal now, but it's only normal now because of this show. This was like a really groundbreaking show, not just for the tone, not just for the quality of animation like you were talking about, but also just for like, this was the first time we got, I think, a superhero animated series that was not like sell toys first, make a series later.
Yeah.
This was about Batman.
Yeah, and they were winning Emmys left and right for it. They had an incredible cast too. A lot of people don't realize it, but yeah, like Ed Asner voiced. God, what's his name? He's like one of the main like criminals. Not like I think he was not like a supervillain, but just like a regular crook. He's in there.
Yep.
Ron Perlman is Clayface.
Which I didn't realize. The animation on Clayface on the show was just bonkers. I loved it.
Yeah, digging through the IMDb page for this, there's like a ton of really cool details in there. Obviously, there's that episode, the Gray Ghost, where Batman teams up with his childhood hero, and he's voiced by Adam West. And when I was a kid, I didn't know who the hell Adam West was. So like, you know, I watched that episode. I'm like, this is nice. This is a cool take on nostalgia. But like, yeah, they got the original Batman to come in and kind of play this part. Apparently, Tim Curry almost voiced the Joker, but instead we got Mark Hamill, who was, of course, became kind of the most iconic, well, one of the most iconic Jokers. That's really hard to narrow down. They're
It's
kind
a back and forth for me between Hamill and Ledger at this point in my life. But yeah.
I mean, Hamill was so good at the Joker that people stopped calling him Luke Skywalker for 15 years to call him the Joker. Like, that just shows how incredible that was. I've seen every episode of the show. I watched every episode of the show while it aired. And I have a younger brother who's 8 years younger than me, and there was one time where my parents were like, we're gonna go to the movies and we're gonna go to the dinner. Can you babysit Eric tonight? And I was like, yeah, sure. And this episode came on that I'd never seen before. First time I'd ever seen it before. And like 5 minutes in, my brother starts throwing up on the carpet. Just pukes everywhere. So I had to run in the other room, get all this shit, and clean up all the floor. Yeah, sorry, I cursed. And clean up the floor and all that. And then I come back in, and the episode was over. And I was like,
Do you know what episode it was?
No.
You don't remember at all?
No, I think it was one of the ones with one of the marionettes, which I have to go back and watch. Like the ventriloquist dummy stuff.
Right.
Do you guys have a favorite off the top of your head?
The Forgotten. The Forgotten is an episode. This is one thing I love about the show is that it totally they're like weird, goofy episodes, and there's kind of like cartoony moments. But then there's like episodes that are just, if you made them live action, they would be harrowing. The Forgotten, basically Bruce Wayne is volunteering at this homeless shelter, and he notices that these homeless guys turn up missing, and he's like, where are they going? So he goes undercover as a bum, and he puts on all his makeup and stuff.
He does Matches Malone. It's one of the first time we see Matches Malone in the animated series.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's his Bruce Wayne's like gangster persona. Yeah.
So he gets whacked over the head, and he gets taken to this like homeless person in like concentration camp. But because he got whacked on the head, he has amnesia, and these guys are all like they're working in coal mines, and like the dude running the camp is this like disgusting giant like dude in like a white suit who's just eating like ham hocks left and right, and you're like, make them work, and if they don't work, they get the box, and they get put in like a steel box in the desert, and it's like they're torturing homeless people on Fox Kids. Like, what the hell was this show? And I saw that when I was a kid, and going back and rewatching it, it holds up incredibly well. But
yeah, it was great. It was really like intensely dark.
Yeah.
My two favorites are probably either the episode where Killer Croc finds a traveling circus and becomes normal.
Oh, dude, that was awesome.
He's traveling around. It's basically Todd Browning's Freaks, but with Killer Croc.
Yeah.
And that was like a really wonderful episode. Or Almost Got Him.
That one's like a perfect episode.
Almost Got Him is where they're all sitting around a table. The whole rogues gallery of Batman villains is like sitting and playing cards and talking about the story of the time they almost got Batman, and it's so good.
That's a great one. Yeah, and it's very dimly lit, and they're just sitting around this poker table. I really liked first of all, I loved all the Clayface episodes, especially like the origin story ones that showed just like how twisted his life had gotten. But I really liked the one where Batman and Robin finally catch, I think it's Two-Face on the show, that they retcon to be the killer of like Robin's family.
Yeah, that's the official story.
Is that the official story? Because I know they played with that in the past. Yeah. But on the show, they find him, and Robin's about to throw him off a cliff and kill him. And Batman comes up, and he was just like, "Don't kill him. Like, you're going to become him." And I remember being a child and being like, "No, kill him.
Yeah.
Like, he killed your parents." And then Batman comes in and very like reasonably explains like, "Don't. We'll put him in jail," in which he'll break out 1,000 times, but still. And just being like, wow, I learned morality from this show, which is a weird thing to learn about a show with like cartoon clown drawings.
Do you guys remember? I think it's Batman in My Basement, where he gets like stung by poisonous birds or something because the penguin's after him. And this like random like nerdy kid brings him in his basement, and he's like, oh, I've got to like help Batman, and he like winds up like driving the Batmobile around with like a remote control, and he's got to like cure him and stuff, and it's just like that was one of the ones that felt very Saturday morning cartoonish, but at the same time like there's that just weirdly like terrifying responsibility of like, oh, this guy might die. This is like a person's life on your hands, and I don't know. He like teams up with his bully or something. That show had like a ton of heart. So it's all streaming on Amazon Prime if you have that. So check that out. And yeah, there's a reason
that we get like like 4K remasters for that. Like
that'd be cool. Yeah. And of course there's the most recent one. They did Batman and Harley Quinn, which has farting Harley Quinn. Or it's
fine.
You probably just watch the originals. Just watch the older ones because they're very good, and we want more of those. But yeah, like there's a reason we're talking about it 25 years later.
Yeah, it was really groundbreaking.
Holds up really well.
Amazing show.
Now here's a weird. Oh god, do we have the farting? How do we have this? That was like last week.
Don't show that.
Don't show the fart clip. It's terrible. So speaking of things that are just inappropriate, Final Fantasy 15 is coming to PC soon, and it was announced that they're going to give it mod support. Through like the whole Steam thing, and people can put in weird, dirty things in there. However, the creator basically said, we're giving it mod support, but if it gets too lurid, we're going to pull it. which is like, I think this is amazingly the first time this has happened. There's kind of an almost like unspoken thing with modding that you're going to get like.
What's too lurid?
Right?
Exactly. Also, like, how do you define that?
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's going to be like a nude patch for sure. People are going to take off like, Gladio's clothes and everything, but they're probably going to throw in like weird stuff like, I don't know, giant cup noodles or like, I don't know, just like Thomas the Tank Engine or whatever the hell. Like there's always like the bizarre sort of avant-garde modding, and then of course there's like, I want the skin to be shinier and the boobs to be bigger.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like there was that person that modded Fallout so that like the dog when it walked around didn't make clicky noises on the steel floor. Like you get weird mods like that are so highly specific. But then you also get like, oh, Noctis has 20-foot long arms now.
Yeah, I love like the ones especially for Bethesda games like Fallout or Skyrim where you get, oh, those clouds should be cumulonimbus.
Yeah.
So I'm turning all the clouds into high-resolution cumulonimbus clouds, and like all the cloud fans out there are like, heck yeah!
There's
Finally,
There's one for Skyrim where it was like they made it so that
put that in my Nexus manager.
That's what wasn't
when the snow would fall, it would land on the roof, and then there'd be like that patch of ground underneath like eaves where there'd be no snow, but there'd be like a slight gradient where it kind of comes down. So I'm like, somebody was playing that game being like, the snow goes right up to the edge of the building, but it's also on the roof. That doesn't make sense. I'm like, dude, there's dragons chasing you. Like maybe. Maybe.
But I love that people who love games this much are able to come back, and I mean, especially with mod support a couple years down the road, if you're looking to replay Final Fantasy 15 4 or 5 years from now, it's always nice that somebody has the option to be like, here's a higher resolution texture pack. Here's something that like adds more effects. Here's something that adds more environmental lighting or whatever, because PCs are just going to continue to evolve. And it's going to be nice to be able to play that game in a newer, more modern way.
Yeah. So like Final Fantasy
but
15,
also sexy costumes.
Yeah, sexy costumes.
stuff.
I mean, that's a weird game because they've been going in and like iterating strange stuff left and right. They just added the Assassin's Creed Festival to it. But I mean, you beat that game or you do like enough of the side quests and your car can fly. But if you like land it not on a road, it explodes and you all die, which is sort of like, that's not really that fun.
That's
and then,
cars, dude.
Yeah, but then they go in and they're like, we're adding monster truck tires so the car can go off-road. And it can also, and you're like, what are we doing here? Like, and I feel like they're gonna keep kind of doing official little iterations and tweaks there, but it's cool that the modding community can kind of go in and play around with it, because there's a fantastic game underneath all of the weirdness there.
Square's just like, we dare you to get weirder than we are.
Yeah.
We dare you.
Yeah.
We'll do this on our own, but if you want to help,
We
go
have a
ahead and
style
try.
guide, but you can't see it. Now, Anthony, it's come for the time of the show where we have to kick you out because we want to talk about Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah, gotta go.
So if you want to see more of Anthony, check out the Star Wars Show every week. It's on youtube.com/Star Wars or StarWars.com.
We got you a gift. It's an incredibly tiny French press.
No,
Yes.
if you give that to me, Max will freak out knowing that piece is missing.
I'll
and
have
I
a
know
small-
that
you
about
want a small coffee?
No, it's fine.
Oh,
I would
thank
never
you.
take that from
You're
you.
so sweet. I'll see if I can get a backup 1 cent maybe.
Yeah, Star Wars Show is every Wednesday on youtube.com/Star Wars. Science and Star Wars will be on the Star Wars Facebook, facebook.com/Star Wars. My podcast is wehaveconcerns.com, and I'm at a Carboni on all the things.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you for
we'll have
coming
you
by.
back as soon as we can.
Good seeing you, man.
Good being here.
Let's get lunch after this.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll hang
Go
out.
hang out
and
outside.
I'll go loiter.
All right. Oh, my computer got unplugged. Okay. God, I thought he'd never leave.
He's nice.
He's right there.
He's still there.
Yeah. So
But he is very nice.
okay. So a lot of stuff going on with Star Wars, of course, because there's one coming out in 2-3 months, whatever. 3
Just
months.
one?
There's
7?
one. We know they're going to be coming out for a while there, but they basically they made an announcement. I don't know if these count as announcements. Somebody will say something in an interview, and everyone's like, "It's the gospel truth," and then you're like, "Oh, well, they cut that part out or whatever." Big news is that apparently after The Last Jedi, we still won't really know who Supreme Commander Snoke is. The Supreme Leader. I keep calling Commander.
Supreme Leader, yeah.
Supreme Leader Snoke. So there's a bunch of questions we're going to have that we're probably still going to have after Episode 8, and that's kind of the point. There's a lot of mysteries and intrigue kind of tangled up, and that's what was really fun about Force Awakens. I think it's really easy to kind of come out of that and just be like, oh, that was a lot of familiar themes that we've seen before, and I don't think a perfect movie exists, but to be able to enjoy that level of like confusion going into it, and then the second the opening crawl rolls and it's like Luke Skywalker is missing, and we're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
We didn't know that. That was a total surprise to us. And then we're gonna get a bunch more stuff like that going into Last Jedi.
I really hope so, because I feel like with spoiler culture and the sort of like over explanation that happens around everything nowadays, like we kind of lose a lot of the magic and mystery when it comes to these things. Like, I don't know, when I watched the original Star Wars trilogy, I wasn't really like, who's Obi-Wan's dad? I literally never asked myself that question until like right this second.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I don't care who his dad and mom were, but like in Star Wars now, like everyone has to know everyone's family member, everyone's allegiance. Like maybe just a bad guy just shows up, like Count Dooku just showed up, right?
Pretty much.
Like we didn't really, you have to read his backstories and books and all that.
That's the other thing that's worth noting is when Lucas was making these, he had some bullet points in his head, he had some ideas for stuff, but they weren't planning too far ahead. And there's some stuff you can point to where like either he had his own private notebook that nobody could see, and there were things that were going to happen. But there's other stuff where I just don't think he planned that much ahead. You don't introduce a character like Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back and set him up like he's going to do something, and then throw him into a pit if you'd plan that far ahead. If they were, I mean, in the case of like Mace Windu, for instance, he's got a purple lightsaber. That was his whole jam. But the first Mace Windu action figure they put out for Episode 1 had a blue lightsaber. And then like in Jedi Power Battles, which was an official game and everything, I think Plo Koon had an orange lightsaber, and then Episode 2 rolls out and there's only 3 colors for him. So a lot of weird stuff to kind of consider with the older stuff. They weren't really planning that far ahead. Lucas had his ideas, but in the case of Disney, like they have a story group. They are thinking probably decades in the future.
Yeah, they're mapping it all out. And what we do know from like the leaked toy shots and official toy shots is that Snoke is like, I don't know, 8 feet tall, and he's
like
wears
7 or 8,
7 or 8 feet tall. He wears like this gold like Ric Flair robe, and he drives around this giant ship that looks like a Tostito.
Yeah. What's weird though is I remember there was an interview with Andy Serkis for The Force Awakens where he was like, yeah, I play like a really big character. He's called Snoke, and we're like, who is Snoke? And then we see him in the movie, and first of all, he just shows up, and you're like, whoa. First of all, he's huge, but he's also a hologram. So what's that going to be like? And going into this, I mean, we've seen the toy. We know that he's about 7 or 8 feet tall, which is still a big dude. He's going to be imposing, but it's also like, I don't know, is that it? Is this like a largish man? It's kind of odd. Like
He's got that weird ring.
He could have also been like 2 feet tall. He could have been like an evil Yoda. So yeah, we don't know who Snoke is. We're probably still not going to know who Snoke is after Episode 8, but
that's okay.
It's fun to speculate.
Yeah.
Now, next question, other huge one. Who the hell is Rey? We don't know who she is. We still don't know who she is, and maybe we'll get some insight to that in Episode 8, but like, it's really cool to be like going into a movie and be like, oh, that's right. We don't know where she came from. We got like a bunch of weird flashbacks. We know that she's going to do some lightsaber stuff.
Yeah, we don't know if she was in like Jedi Junior School with Kylo Ren, and then he started this school gang called the Knights of Ren, and they turned on everybody and killed everybody. We don't know. We don't know her origin. I hope like, if they stay away from her being a sort of like Skywalker child. They said specifically that her parents were not in 7.
Right. That is the thing they've said, but then they've also, I don't know.
They've also reneged on that, like, quietly.
That was also, like, J.J. Abrams. He's known to kind of occasionally lie about stuff just to keep the mystery going. Then, of course, there's the Knights of Ren. We saw them in not only the trailer for Force Awakens, but also in a flashback in Force Awakens. And I thought, like, getting a glimmer of them in the trailer meant that we were going to see them actually doing stuff.
Yeah, all we saw in the trailer was what we saw in the film, really.
And
which bums me out because like I love these guys. I love like their weird. I mean, I remember like digging through, like zooming in on pictures like this and being like, "Is that Mandalorian armor? Like, does that guy have like chainmail? Like,
and there's like,
what the hell? Like,
there's
what's he
kick-ass,
holding?
like concept art of them. But yeah, like we don't know if that's a flashback or a vision. We don't know if the Knights of Ren are dead. Like, we don't really know what's going on with them. Like,
right.
I mean, I'm sure there's lots of speculation and probably a nod here and there in the fiction that we should probably catch up on reading.
I remember reading like a sort of like behind Star Wars or one of those like making of Star Wars type of things where somebody said there will be a scene in the new movie where Luke Skywalker fights them, which I'm like totally into because we haven't really seen him fight anybody of significance, or at least in like a group setting, in a very, very long time.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. One thing it's worth asking about is, where's his lightsaber? Because obviously there's the blue one that Rey finds. He's like, hey, is this yours? And he's like, get off my island. I'm here with my weird birds. But his like iconic green one that he makes himself, I don't know what's up with that, you know?
We see it at the end of Jedi. It's my favorite one of his by far. It's really cool.
Yeah, he doesn't throw it away. It doesn't get like left at the bottom of the Death Star or anything.
Or tossed into space, right?
But if you look at all the photos that we've seen of Luke in Episode 7 and 8, he doesn't have a saber on him. And his action figure doesn't come with one, which is kind of an odd, like, I mean, we got a Rey figure with Episode 7 that did come with a lightsaber, which was a huge spoiler for a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know. Like,
and then there were a couple that shipped without them that just came with their blaster that Han Solo gives her. So it's weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really hope that one shows up.
love that
It'd be really funny if the movie starts with that shot of Rey handing him a lightsaber, and he's like, "Oh no, it's cool. I got one already."
Yeah. What if he redoes that trick from Jedi where R2 like pukes the thing up, but it's one of the porgs is just like this lightsaber comes out. I don't think that's a good idea, but it would still be pretty funny.
What else we got, Max?
Finally, what's up with Finn? Like, we know that he got picked up by the New Order, or the First Order. I keep doing this. I keep just left and right. But yeah, like, we know that the First Order was basically grabbing orphans and training them to be soldiers, but apparently not doing a great job because we went up with deserters like Finn who run off to join the Resistance. So, are his parents dead? Is he a clone? Does he have issues about that? I imagine he might. What's he doing in that space costume?
I'm okay with this one not being answered.
I don't think they need to go into it too hard.
He is an orphan, like just every other stormtrooper was sort of kidnapped when they were babies and then forced into this thing. Although they did, I remember them reading that like if the orphan thing doesn't work out, they can always go back to clones, which is odd how they just stopped using clones. I hated all that stormtrooper.
Yeah, it's weird. Now, one thing we've seen in Rogue One, they introduced the idea of a more kind of complex layering of the good and evil. The fact that you had what's his name with the boogly.
Borgullet.
Forrest Whitaker or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy they go see, he's like the far crazy, overly rebellious rebel, and they're like, he's a terrorist, we don't want to work with him, but please join the rebellion. We're also not bad guys. But then you see like Diego Luna like killing a guy in an alleyway, and you're like, oh, so just joining the rebellion isn't necessarily like the good guys.
Yeah.
And I think in the case of the new trilogy, you've got the Resistance, but there's also the Republic. And my understanding is kind of going into this that the Republic was basically like, the First Order's fine, don't worry about it. Don't get too stressed out about that. You guys are being crazy wingnuts. That Leia Organa lady, she's a little crazy, whatever. So I think we're going to see like some interesting political stuff. Maybe not quite as in-depth as we got with the prequels, but more in-depth than we got with the original trilogy.
I think it's a really good guess.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And best of all, that movie comes out December 15th, and there's a whole lot of questions we still have about it. So if nothing else, we'll be surprised, and then, we can start our whole hypothesis cycle for the next one.
Yeah.
We got to wrap things up and throw back to Destin, who's playing more Destiny 2. Big thanks to Taco Bell for sponsoring our episode. If you missed it, we did do a huge big unboxing of the Xbox One X. You can find out what's inside that box and a way to win your very own. That's up on IGN and on YouTube and all that.
Yep.
And we'll be back same time next week.
Same time next week.
Yeah. So, Destiny, back to you.